Welcome everyone to the third episode of the season of the Allcarnews Podcast, and we are back here today with Chris from SparkPlugTV. How's it going?
Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm good. How are you?
Awesome, doing great. Well, thank you for coming on the show. We got a jam-packed
Yeah, thanks for
season
having me.
this time around, and a lot of interesting topics because there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the automotive space. But I always love having people on, smaller influencers and smaller groups of people to kind of help you guys spread your platform out. And I love hearing about why everyone else got into cars, what makes them so passionate about their pages, and how they get their pages to where they are now. So, Chris, why don't you tell us about Sparkplug TV?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. I know I kind of
Of
cut you
course.
off there in the beginning, but I've never done this via Zoom, so I don't know. Actually, this is my first time on any podcast ever, so
Oh, welcome.
um, thank you. Yeah. And then yeah, so I mean, I started Sparkplug TV back in 21.
Okay.
July 2021 was the first video that I put out on. At the time, I owned a Hyundai Elantra. It was like the newly redesigned Elantra that they've been putting out, and it just kind of snowballed from there. I mean, where I got my original love of cars from, my dad is a mechanical engineer,
Oh, wow.
and he basically he has been, I mean, since he was like a teenager, I mean, he's been building he used to build like kit cars, like he built a
Okay.
Mustang with his brothers.
Oh, that's sweet.
He's always, I don't know, been into cars. And when I was a kid, he always had Audis, and he had a Ford T-Bird.
Cool.
And yeah, and recently he actually has a patent on, not to like, I don't know, name drop, but like he has like a patent on the locking differential system on the G-Wagons.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
actually pretty impressive. That's really impressive, actually.
so he was part of the team that did that. And then so he's got a patent on that. And then so yeah, I mean, like when I was a kid, for me personally though, when I was a kid, I mean, like I used to build a lot of model cars. Because I just really loved the way that they looked and were designed. I loved the sound of them,
Yeah.
as a kid. Like, I also had like a cop car that like whenever I would press the button on the back, it'd be like, slow down, pull over. Like, I don't know. It was, I mean, back then, I mean, and I just had like tons of Hot Wheels, tons of
Yeah.
toy cars and model cars. And my first ever model car that I built was like an original Mustang, and it was like Carolina blue because I'm from North Carolina.
Hmm.
And Yeah, and then when I was in high school, I mean, well, anyway, I was lucky enough to be, part of the family that I'm in, and um and I got to basically, like, my dad had a Corvette when I was in high school. Shouldn't have let me drove it, but it was a C4 Corvette. It
Okay.
shouldn't have let me drive it, but I drove it in high school. And then yeah, I don't know. I've always I used to, when I was in high school, I was like subscribed to all the magazines like Car and Driver and Motor Trend, and I would read them all the time. And always just like wish about, I always wanted to be that person like on TV, like reviewing them, especially when Top Gear was huge. Like
Yeah.
that was like my Bible. Like it was
Definitely.
just
No. Oh, yeah. The
um
original cast of Top Gear. Let's put
yes,
that clear for
yeah.
everyone there.
Yeah, the original British cast of Top
Yes.
Gear. But it wasn't until, I went to college, and I did the whole like collegiate path, and the whole, I did international studies, and then I learned Mandarin Chinese in college, and
Wow.
then
Awesome.
and then I lived in China. In 2017, I moved to China, and with the goal of like kind of, I don't know, blowing up like on their social media, because it's really easy for a foreigner that speaks Chinese to get popular there,
Yeah.
especially like an American foreigner. I lived there for 3 years. I was actually there when the pandemic started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Made it
I
out.
mean, yeah, I made it out alive. I was in ground zero, but it was interesting to see the car culture there. But that was like one of my, I had two goals when I moved to China. It was to become a translator and do business with like a company there. And
Okay.
that whole kind of like obviously it's not like a regular path to like move to like be an expatriate in China, but like that was the kind of like the regular path for me at the time. And then my other goal was to I guess blow up is what I would say
Yeah,
back in college, like, in a um in like an automotive kind of space. And
yeah.
so and before the pandemic started, I actually incubated the idea of being an influencer in China. They're called Wanghongs. It's like
Interesting.
that's a word for like influencer in Chinese. And they um so like I said, I incubated the plan in like 2018, but I was still working a 9 to 5. But I just like I knew that that's what I wanted to do. Like that was what I really wanted for myself. And then when 2020 came around, like the first couple weeks in January, like I quit my job to go back to be an English teacher.
Okay.
And because I only had to work like 3 days a week, and I would make like a full-time salary, and all the while I would be studying Chinese, like the vernacular
Wow.
for automotive, because I was already fluent like conversationally,
Hmm.
but like obviously like even in English, like the vernacular for automotive stuff is a whole nother language in and of
Hmm.
itself. And so I had to study like the Chinese vernacular on how to speak about that. But then the pandemic happened, and then I came back to the States, lived with my family for a year, was just like everybody, like in a deep dark depression. But finally in 2021, I finally kind of came out of that rut,
Hmm.
and started my channel. And I've been very, very lucky and blessed, and oh God, I sound so Southern. I am just very lucky to have gotten, I don't know, all the opportunities that I've had so far. I have dealership sponsors now. I have an app that's going to sponsor me in January.
Oh, wow.
I can tell you about that if you're
That's
interested.
awesome.
And then yeah, I'm like super close to being monetized on YouTube, and then I've hit some pretty insane numbers on TikTok. TikTok is wild. I
TikTok
mean,
is a wild space. Yes.
yeah. So
Well, that's
that's kind of my super long
yeah.
story about how I've gotten into cars. So
That's yeah, that's crazy. That's pretty impressive. Now, quick question: do you have a G wagon?
I personally do not have a G-Wagon, no.
That's another
No, and
goal
my
for
dad doesn't
some
have one
people.
either, but my mom does have a
Okay,
GLE. So
okay, pretty cool. Now,
yeah.
in China, did you do anything with anything in the automotive space at all? Did you have to like learn anything about the automotive space there? Because I know it works very, very differently than it operates and basically anywhere else in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, and first of all, your Instagram is like, I love your Instagram. I
Thank you.
forgot to mention that, but like I love all of the breaking news that you post, and especially the stuff about China, because I always feel like that kid in class that's like, ooh, 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 like I know the answer to this, because like I used to like
Yeah.
whenever you posted about like that Cadillac that's like only China
Oh,
specific,
yeah.
like um or the fact that like Buick is like a huge entity in China, and that's the only
Hmm.
reason that Buick is still even a thing is because of the
Yeah,
Chinese market.
exactly.
um when I was there, I mean, the only kind of like, I mean, I went to a couple car shows in
Okay.
Shanghai, because I lived in Shanghai.
Okay.
I went to a couple car shows there. They've since turned that expo into a COVID center, a COVID lockdown center, where they send people who have COVID to. And I used to go to
Jeez.
car
Yeah.
shows there.
I've seen.
I don't want to get into that, but so yeah, I've been to. The thing is that like, so I also knew some like people in manufacturing industries, that would manufacture aftermarket parts, for our market, for Japan, and for Mexico. But China wasn't allowed to kind of dip their toes in that, because aftermarket builds are illegal in China.
Oh, is it like with emission standards or just in
I
general?
think it. I think it. I think I don't. I don't want to. I don't want to talk
Yeah.
out of turn, but like I think it has to do with emissions, because I know that like motor scooters are not allowed. Like they all have to be electric.
Like, yeah.
And because there's so many people with electric scooters. And I know too that like to get a license plate, or to get a license in general, costs like I think it's 15,000 American dollars. I don't know. I mean, from what I remember
Whoa.
speaking to like the car, like the cab drivers, because talking to cab drivers was a really great way to practice Chinese. Um, and like to speak to them, I just remember them telling me that it was super friggin' expensive to own a car in
Yeah,
China. And I
that's
mean,
crazy.
it's the same thing with like so when I actually almost moved to New York City last year.
Okay.
I interviewed for a job out there for a company that was owned a Chinese owned company who wanted somebody to purchase high-end luxury vehicles like 7 Series, G Wagons, what are the other ones? No, not Rolls, Bentleys,
Wow.
and oh God, I want to say Aston Martins. I don't know. They were top dollar, supercar or high-end luxury vehicles. Um, and I ended up not taking it because it kind of sketched me out the way that they proposed it to me, because they wanted me to buy the vehicle under my name and then transfer the title over to them,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
they would give me the cash. I don't
Yeah.
know. It was wild. I was,
So that's actually pretty funny. Just to mention this. So when I started like it's working in person at my job, and I currently work at a few dealerships. So I work at the main company of it. We actually had some businessmen who all this is mostly happened over the phone. Um, and they ordered, I think, 6 or 7 fully loaded black Lincoln Navigators. And we were pretty sure they were all going overseas. So
a hundred
it was
percent.
really interesting. And I think it was
Well,
like one of
because
those
it's
weird
so
cash.
expensive. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm filming a video tomorrow on a BMW i8, and
Hmm.
in here in the States, BMW i8s go for what, like 145, 170. I think the Roadsters are like 170
Yeah, when they were new around that, yeah.
when they were new, right? But in China, they're like
Hmm.
$350,000. I mean, it's just, and so their workaround is through this kind of like they just work around the tariffs by exporting that, or not circumventing
Hmm.
the dealers,
That's crazy. That's
because
pretty crazy.
they tax the shit out of them in the
Yeah.
ports. So
It's crazy. I mean, the whole Chinese automotive space alone, I think, is pretty crazy. But do you see, I guess, from some of the experience you might have, do you think like some other manufacturers are going to try to start coming more over to the US? Because there's been talk about it, but we never really have seen really anything solid with Chinese manufacturers coming to the US. I mean, like, I don't know, the biggest extent is the Geely Group. I'm sure you're familiar with them. Now owns
yeah.
Volvo and Lotus and
Mm.
God only knows what else they have now. But do you think like actual Chinese manufacturer, like those Chinese brands, will come to the US? I know Neo might be one. That is it. Neo is an electric brand in China. I cannot remember the name. I think they had a car called the Trumpchi, and they made this whole big thing that it's going to come to the US, but I can't remember the name of the brand. But I know a lot of these like Chinese companies have been pouring a lot of money into like all these new American startups, like EV startups that have been popping out of nowhere. So I think that's kind of their workaround, which is pretty
So
interesting.
there's the one that I was the most familiar with myself, and the one that I was actually literally on the cusp of starting to do a video on was it was called Chantu. Um and
I've heard of
it's
them.
like
Yeah.
this like fully electric supercar that is it kind of looks like an i8, but it also kind of looks like a football. I don't know. It was designed by like a French guy. But it's manufactured
Oh,
in
is it called the K50?
I
I
don't
might be thinking of something completely different, or the butterfly or something.
it's a oh yeah, the Chantu K50. Yes,
Yes.
it's the it's a dragonfly.
Do I have a story about this one?
Yeah, it doesn't it look like I think it kind of
Yeah,
looks like an i8.
yeah. So funny story with this one actually. I actually have gotten experience with this thing in person
Do they
because
have them in the States?
no. So there's a company out of California called Mullen Technologies. I think they're Mullen Automotive now. I'm not really sure. I'm still not like super certain on what their goals or what their aims are doing. For the past like few years, it was kind of really weird. Um, I think they were like a parts supplier, automotive supplier, or something. But they at some point they were partnering with Chantu or something to bring that car over to the U.S.
Yeah.
And there are a few examples I think made it here. I saw someone spotted one in like California at some point, but it was funny because they reached out to me because they came to the New York Auto Show. This must have been back in 2018, I think, or 2019. And yeah, they were like, yeah, come. I did video on it. I have a video on YouTube about it. And it was really interesting. I mean, they had like some kind of plans, and then they just disappeared over the past like 3 or 4 years. Long story short, now this Mullen company, they're on the stock market now.
Hmm.
They're all over the place, and they have this new electric vehicle called the Mullen 5, and they're going like on a tour around the country, trying to like kind of gain recognition of it. They're doing like test drives of the prototype and stuff. But anyways, it was
It
a
was a cool
long-winded
car. I
story
mean,
of
it was a
yeah.
cool car. Yeah, I mean, it was a cool car when I saw it, and I really liked the passion that the guys at the
Yeah.
dealer, or it was more of a storefront, kind of like Tesla. But I really liked the guys that worked there. But yeah, I mean, I don't want this whole thing to be about like my experience in China, but I mean, like the Chinese market is very interesting, like where like the all of their cars, like the 5 Series is the length of a 7 Series, like the E class is the length of an S class, and so on and so forth. I
Yeah.
mean, they like longer
The long
wheelbases. I couldn't
wheelbases.
tell you why. I don't know. I personally think that they just like more luxurious, like
Yeah.
larger spaces. Um,
It's pretty
I don't
interesting.
know. Yeah, so
That is
so I
definitely
was
interesting.
yeah, so I was gonna do that, but then that didn't work out. But I mean, I've always wanted to be on TV, and when I was a senior in high school, it just started to come out YouTube. So just aging myself a little bit. And so now that I'm in it, I'm kind of finding it as a way of like being like a queer automotive enthusiast in a space that is like generally, cisgender heterosexual men,
Mhm.
and my end goal is to have my own TV show, and whether that be on,
Yeah.
YouTube, where I like am just really, I garner like a humongous audience on your YouTube, and then I just self-produce there,
Yeah.
or if like I can get some kind of like Netflix or something.
That's an awesome ultimate end goal there. Be on
Yeah,
Netflix.
well,
Hey, anything's possible. Anything's
yeah,
possible. But
yeah.
your biggest audience, I think, I would say, is on TikTok. You make a lot of TikTok videos and
Yeah, it's wild. I
yeah.
don't like it's like you've cracked Instagram, I'm cracking TikTok, and I feel like I don't know what your YouTube, I haven't watched any of your YouTube videos, I'm gonna be honest, but I do watch your TikTok stuff and your Instagram stuff, but YouTube is like a slow slog to kind of get up.
Yeah,
It's really intense, honestly. I
it's
mean,
a lot. It is a lot
I,
for
I
YouTube.
just I just realized that like as of like 2 months ago that the watch hours to get you monetized, it goes up and down. Like it's not even, it's
It's
ridiculous.
crazy. Yeah, the YouTube cracking the YouTube code is a whole other animal. I honestly, I always tell people that you got to make it, or not just make it, but like get like an audience on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and then you can drive that traffic to YouTube. I think it's only the best way to do it. If you really gain like a fast audience, if you want to do that. But it's definitely transformed as its own space, even for automotive content. Now all these big reviewers, they're like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of subscribers or millions of subscribers. And it's either like them or you have like the established like brands that have been doing this forever and kind of built their following since like YouTube was like started. But
Well, YouTube is like the Facebook of video platforms now. I mean, it's
I,
like I
I
don't know.
wouldn't I wouldn't say that, but it's definitely more produced videos, more
Yeah.
detailed, more in-depth, more like professional videos versus I mean TikTok's captured that like short form
Yeah,
entire thing. It's crazy.
I mean, to your point, I mean, yeah, I would say that I mean, I've gotten the most views I've gotten on TikTok so far on one video is like 510,000 on
That's
one,
impressive. Yeah.
on the dumbest shit that
Yep.
took me 5 seconds to make. And I mean, I'm grateful for it in one light, and then in the next, I'm
Yeah.
like kind of upset because like these YouTube videos take me like 10 to 12 hours to make one video. and I get maybe because when I first started my channel, like I was doing SEO Google stuff where I would, because I don't think my ego was like gonna let me do like small numbers, because
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm putting so much time and effort and money, like I have to do thousands of views, or like this isn't
Yeah.
worth my time. But now the more that I'm in this a year and a half now, and now that I've been in it a year and a half, I mean, I'm not doing it for the views. I'm doing it for myself to have fun in what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And I'm doing it to make people laugh. And I'm doing it to, I don't know, just like do what I want to do in life,
Yeah. No, that's
which is
great.
like be around cars and make people
Yeah.
laugh. Not
Yeah.
to be
No, I think
redundant. I'm being
I
redundant, but
I think that's great though, because if you're just doing what you do and not just like kind of forcing it, it's great because I think it's the best way to grow a good community on all these platforms is because that's how people are gonna find you. They're gonna resonate with something that you do differently. I guess everyone else is gonna be doing. I think that's fantastic. But like how did you kind of like get into the space of going to dealerships? Did you like reach out to them? Have you had people reach out to you yet? Or I mean, I know I've had experience with this, so it's like it's it can be a difficult process, but you know,
no, it's impossible. I mean, it's next to impossible. I mean, I got so lucky, and the timing was right, in what I did, and who I met. Like I basically had a mutual friend that knew the owner of, so it's this like conglomerate in North Carolina called Johnson Automotive Group.
okay,
And they have 7 dealers here, and then they have one dealer in Annapolis, Maryland, and then another one in Jupiter, Florida.
okay,
Um, and I she was good friends with the owner of those 9 dealers. And then he connected me with the director of marketing. The director of marketing was looking for a cinematographer and a new age way of like marketing
yeah,
their dealers, because they in the past had used typical, cookie cutter kind of commercial marketing. I
yeah,
mean,
of
not like
course,
not cheesy marketing. It was very professionally well done commercials. Um, but he wanted some kind of like new style, I don't know, way of
attract the
marketing
younger
their,
audience
yeah,
probably.
attractive. Well, especially because like their main dealer is a Lexus dealership. And I mean,
Ah, okay.
who buys Lexuses but like older people that want
Mm-hmm.
something comfortable. And so that's what yeah, I mean, like, and so they wanted me to, I mean, I just did a Lexus RX 350, a 23 Lexus RX 350. And like I said a couple of minutes ago, like I stopped the SEO, but it's organically gotten almost 2,000 views on its
That's
own.
great. Yeah.
So it's like people want to watch it. And in it, I was a complete dumbass about like just how my delivery, and like I made some stupid satirical commercial about um because Lexus is so dramatic, like when it comes to the way they describe their own cars and their own products. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like I was just like talking in this like Valley Girl accent, just being like, oh my God, like the Lexuses and their like diamond encrusted LED headlamps, and the design is just like incomparable, and like it's just like stupid shit, and just like and just being dumb. Anyway, so I just and that's what he's looking for. I mean, he's looking
Yeah.
for kind of this new like just attracting like whatever he can, I guess. And but I have tried to go to other dealerships. Like there's Jeep, the biggest Jeep dealership, Jeep Dodge Ram dealer here is Westgate. And the woman at Westgate was like, she was a GM, and she was pretty gung-ho about it at first. And they own a Rolls-Royce dealer here too. And I
Oh
was like,
wow.
shit, yeah, like I'm about to get like Rolls-Royce on my handle,
Yeah.
about to get a Cullinan on the channel. And um yeah, she was really gung ho at first, and then completely ghosted me because I was asking for money. She basically wanted me to work for free.
Yeah.
Um, and which is fine. And I was like cool with it. I was like, look, like I'll do it for free. I was like, but eventually I would like you to pay me.
Yeah.
Because I am marketing your dealership for free. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally free advertising. and she just was like, no, thank you. And I was like, all right, well, it's
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's tough because when I started doing it, I honestly didn't. I mean, I was lucky enough to already have the monetization activated for all my pages, so I personally didn't care about the money from like dealerships and stuff. So I was just going around, even asking for free advertising and stuff. Even that, I mean, there's some success, but even that was difficult. There's some people who were like, no, this is silly. What is this? We're not doing that, you know. But I mean, the places that do kind of engage in like this kind of like influencer marketing, if you want kind of want to call it, have great success. And I think they end up adopting that as their own style as entire groups sometimes, which is, I guess that's telling. But I always go back to this one point, and this is like, I want to say a year or two. No, again, something I think this point, and this person was just attacking me at some point, and they were just going after me and saying, "You're not a real automotive journalist. You just post news and get cars from dealerships. You don't get any cars from manufacturers. You don't do this. Like, go get your, like all this nonsense." And I'm like, okay, so Doug DeMuro isn't a real automotive journalist. Half the people everywhere aren't real automotive journalists. And you look at these real automotive journalists. If anyone is listening, I'm using air quotes a lot, and they're like, what are they? They're just like spitting out information that the manufacturers are feeding them, and they're just like being part of these bigger groups that are just kind of feeding this narrative that's like, is it really genuine, or is it just kind of like going for clicks, which you're seeing a lot of pages do these days now too. So it's a very complicated mess of a world. I think people who know what they're looking for will find these like smaller, I think, outlets better than these massive publications of these bigger like companies.
so you said that you started with like the monetization turned on all your platform. I mean, like, how did you
How
grow?
did I build up
Because,
to that?
well,
Yeah.
you did Instagram first?
Yeah. Instagram was first, and YouTube, and then TikTok kind of got added on. And there's Twitter and all these other platforms and stuff. But
Oh, so you're on Twitter too.
yeah, yeah, of
Okay.
course. I don't really use it as much, but I think for most of this content where people are kind of getting driven to it, you're gonna find it on TikTok and
Mm.
Instagram and YouTube. But yeah, it's an interesting space, definitely for sure.
And how long have you been doing this? I didn't even.
Well, I started Allcarnews back in 2012,
Oh wow.
originally, and I didn't really, it was just like a little just fun and stuff for solid 5 or 6 years. I was 12 at the time,
I
so
was gonna say I didn't want to be rude, but I was like, were you 12? Like
yeah, I was 12. But and in high school and college, well, mostly high school, towards the end of high school, I always really wanted to like blow it up and have it become big.
Yeah,
And
sure.
finally, in college, once you get older, you kind of get more respected by people, I guess. You get be able to drive, and you get able to access more by cars a little bit more,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
you get to go to the press events, auto shows, and so that kind of like started blowing up. And I eventually got on Instagram like 124,000 followers, and that drove everyone to YouTube. I just kept driving people to YouTube for like stupid
Right.
videos and stuff, and that's what grew the following up to there, to the point where you're able to get it monetized and you get the ad revenue, which is fantastic. But
Yeah.
it takes time. It takes time. Some people have crazy success and can get like 500,000 followers in like a few months. Other people take years or months, it could depend. But
I mean,
yeah,
I'm
it's
in
definitely
this for the
interesting.
long haul, no matter
Yeah,
what. I mean, and if it
that's great.
I don't know. I don't really foresee myself really doing anything else. I mean, I've been through career hell basically up until this point. I mean, I'd never. I mean, yes, I did the China thing, and I was pretty successful in that space, but was it what I wanted? I mean, no. I mean,
Yeah,
I of course am grateful that I traveled the world and and I did all that cool stuff and met some really incredible people, but I also was kind of doing it to like, I don't know, please people, like kind of, I
yeah.
don't want to
You want to do what you wanted to do at the end of the day.
yeah, I mean, and
Yeah,
that's how that ended up being, car influencer in China. Like
yeah.
because it was like I might as well just like I'm living here now. I might as well just like turn this into something that I actually want to do.
Have you considered making a video in Chinese? At least here, at least.
So I've thought about it. I mean, you're obviously on TikTok, and so like that John Cena like Bing Chi Ling thing.
Yes,
where
yeah,
he's like 早上好中国, like,
yeah,
我现在有冰淇淋. He I started a new segment called LGBTQs and their CARs parentheses working title because it's like a dumb name.
yeah.
And I referenced that trend and I thought it was going to blow up because
Hmm.
I don't know, I'm speaking
Trends.
Chinese in it, but
The
like it
trends
was
work.
like a trend. I'm a foreigner speaking,
Yeah.
Chinese, because a lot of Chinese people when they ask, like, they're like, why do you know Chinese? I'm like, I don't know, I just do. My Chinese isn't as good as it used to be. And so I really don't want to like say something wrong
Yeah.
because like in the Chinese language, there's like the word ma is like said four different ways because he used four different tones and
Oh
it
wow.
means four different things. So if you say something tonally incorrect, then you could be slighting somebody and not even know it.
Okay.
And so like, and I'm not saying I
Yeah.
would do that, but like I don't want to I again, my ego, like I don't want to like embarrass
Yeah, I
myself
understand.
and others, when it comes to that. So I did that. I'll do it in a space that I'm comfortable in, but I thought about maybe because I just bought a BMW Z3 and
Okay.
I thought about maybe introducing it in Chinese just because it would be very simplistic to me anyway. It would be
Yeah.
very simplistic Chinese that I could um talk about it in. Um I don't know. That's a very
Yeah, but I
long
think
answer to your
yeah,
question.
that'd be no, I think that'd be a really cool like niche to kind of like explore maybe on TikTok because I think that's would be crazy to blow up because I know
Well, I'm already a gay car enthusiast, which is already niche enough as it is. So
dash in some Chinese there and see what happens.
it's like super niche.
But yeah, I know there was one unfortunately just shut his channel down, but I forgot his name was Asian Petrolhead and he was out of South Korea and he reviewed all these South Korean cars that eventually were coming to the US and he spoke it in English. And
Mm,
it blew up because we didn't get these cars for like another a few months or a year
yeah.
and he was doing it all first. It was really cool. But he also made videos in South Korea as well, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean I think people like that stuff, so I think that'd be something interesting to explore. But that's that's for you to decide at some
Maybe
point.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you for sharing some stuff about your pages and everything. I wanted to hop into this Q&A thing I've been doing because it's been really interesting. We've had some Instagram responses into the little box on there, and people have some interesting questions that they're asking. So I usually pick one or two, but I think we might choose two this one. So the first question that we have lined up here. Oh, that's too way too long worded. Right. Should anti-station wagonism, this is a one word someone wrote, should anti-station wagonism be stopped?
Wow.
I'm assuming
Anti
this is referring to the hatred of station wagons in the US and the love of car enthusiast station wagons, for station wagons in the US. What do you think
should it
about
be
this one?
stopped? Yes, 100%.
Or
I
is
mean,
it even a movement? It's the first question I think we should be asking. But
I think to the general public, I think that they unwillingly have been contributing to anti-station wagonism
okay.
because of how much crossover SUVs have just completely rocked the market.
Yeah.
They're just a lot more. I don't know what it is about. I mean, because I almost bought before I bought my pickup truck, I was really, really considering buying a Buick Regal X.
Okay. Yeah.
I really, because it was like, what the
It's a
hell?
cool
That
looking
thing
car.
it's cool. I mean, it had a turbo i4. I think it was an i4.
Yeah.
I know it's a four-cylinder, but is it inline?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
turbo.
Yeah. Um, I don't know, it was really cool. I mean, it was utilitarian,
Hmm?
I mean, it had like a small towing capacity, it
Yeah.
was
They're
just it
different.
yeah, it was different. So to answer that question, yes, I think it should be stopped. I'm a huge fan of any of the, Avant Audi wagons. I mean, like those things are insane. Those have like 720 horsepower in a
Yep.
station
RS6.
wagon.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like,
Crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. I think there's like that stigma still, at least in the US. Like I'm sure everywhere of it being like a old person or momobile or something. But I
but
think
I don't look at them as like, I mean,
I
maybe it's
don't
because
either.
we're car, and maybe it's
Yeah.
because we're car enthusiasts, we don't see them as such.
Hmm.
But I think that like whenever I see like a 3 Series station wagon, then it's
That's
diesel, I lose
cool.
my mind.
Yeah, exactly. It's so cool. And I mean, now it's gotten to the point where, at least from our Volvo store, um, you can't, we don't like order them. You have to special order the station wagons
Mm,
just because Volvo was like, hey, we tried this, and no one's buying them. So if you kind of want one, you can special order it. And it's not even the wagons anymore. It's the cross countries, it's all raised
the
wagons.
XC40s and the
Yeah,
X40s,
yeah. I
the
honestly a little
recharge.
bit to that. I blame the Outback for starting the
Yeah.
raised wagon off-roady-ish looking trend.
But the
But
Outbacks even, I mean, I know they're considered like an SUV, but like they look like wagons.
they
Like I
do.
just,
Yeah.
it's a wagon.
It's interesting. It's interesting and
Well, I mean,
unfortunate.
it's the
But
same thing with like the Kia Soul. It's like an SUV, but it's like not. I mean,
it's not an
it's an
SUV.
SUV.
It's a
Well, and the
hatchback.
Kona or the Ionic, those are
Because
also
they
SUVs.
call them SUVs, yeah. But yeah, I think the word SUV has been so diluted at this point that it's
Hmm.
you can call the Toyota, what's the new one? The Crown,
Yes, it's
whatever
a
that
yeah,
supposed
they're
thing's
doing.
called.
I mean, like the Motor Trend SUV of the year
The Hyundai Ionic
is the
5,
Ionic 5.
which is a fat hatchback.
It's a hatchback.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. It's unfortunate, but
it's crazy. Oh my
uh
God, and then here's the Outback Wilderness. Yeah.
what has the world become? But yeah, we're in a blend of fastback crossover sport. Everything's a crossover these days, so I think that's what we're gonna be stuck with for a while. Oh
Totally.
yeah, so that was an interesting question. But the word anti-station wagonism, I think I'm gonna have to put that on a t-shirt. That's gonna stop anti-station wagonism. I like that. It's such a good slogan. But
Yeah.
yeah, good question from that user. Awesome. So another question I like to ask everyone on these shows is, what is your favorite car right now? What have you your favorite old car? Could be anything in the past. And then what are you looking forward to next year the most?
Okay.
It's a big question.
What?
It's
That's a
very
big
difficult.
question. Yeah. What is my favorite car right now? I'm trying to think of like what really
Kind of stands out.
I almost want to say the Ionic 5. Oh,
Really?
honestly, I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
it was impressive. It was really interesting. I mean, to package, I'm not the biggest fan of electric vehicles,
Yeah.
but to package something that has been kind of unobtainable from Tesla for so long, and that was not only unobtainable but also like really poorly made, and
Yeah.
into something that is now well made and that has this like neo-futuristic vibe to it with its like digitization of
Yeah.
the LED running the LED daytime running lights and the back light
Hmm.
bulb
The light
being
strip.
these
Yep.
like
The
pixels.
pixels. Yeah.
um it's cool, but and I think so and then on the opposite end of that spectrum, I think the coolest one that I've done was probably the T-Rex, was the Ram T-Rex.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh my
Those
God,
are monsters.
that thing blew my sock. It was, I think it had a supercharger and a turbocharger on
Oh,
top. I think
was it modified?
I know that it has like bottom line, it has a
Yeah.
supercharger, a
Yeah.
supercharged V8, but I think it had
That's
a, I don't know. I would have to fact check that, but the T-Rex was incredible because it was like a 2-ton pickup truck with launch control. I mean,
it
what?
bends the laws of physics, I
No,
think.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It had a faster 0 to 60 than a 911. Like
Yeah.
it's
It's
just
crazy.
um so a gas guzzler and an EV. I
Navy.
mean, those are my top two of the year. My my favorite my favorite past car. So I used to be, and I'm gonna butcher this because I don't know all of the like inside like 996 numbers and
Oh
998,
boy.
you know,
Yeah.
all the Porsche numbers, you know.
Yeah.
Um I mean, my dad has, I said 996 because that's what my dad has. Or 997. See, I didn't even get it right. The one without the IMS bearing issue, that one. Sorry, let me just
I can't even remember my Porsche numbers. This is really bad. We just had a expert on for the last episode, so I will definitely get some hate for this one. I
That's
can't remember
okay.
all my Porsche model names, but yeah.
Well, anyway, so I used to be a huge fan of the late 80s Targa.
Okay.
The red Targa, etc. The guy that I'm doing the i8 with, who also owned the Rivian, this dude also owns a 97 Targa.
Oh wow. Okay.
That thing, it is, oh god, it's so cool looking. I mean, it's got a fully glass top roof
Mhm.
that fully extends back automatically. It's manual. It's a 6-speed. I think it's air cooled. I'm pretty
I
sure it's
believe
air
so.
cooled.
Before the 996, I think, or the seven, before 997, I think we're cool.
Right. Yeah, so it's still air cooled. It's like it's a work of art, that thing. I mean, being a 90s kid, I mean, like it's so
That's
nostalgic for
awesome.
me.
Yeah.
Um and then what am I looking forward to? I want to
It's hard to
say
choose something that's not an EV. It's difficult
I
these days.
know. And honestly, I think I'm gonna land on the Parasangue because
Oh, okay.
honestly, like I didn't think I was gonna like it. I really did not think I was gonna like the fact that like Ferrari really kind of doubled back on who they are as a
Yeah.
brand and are coming out with an SUV. But after like I watched a Top Gear video on it,
Hmm.
the newer Top Gear, obviously, but
I actually said the Pro Sangue for my choice in the past, and I think that sure people will think, oh, it's not Ferrari, it's whatever. That thing is one of the most interesting and the coolest I think projects they've ever done.
it's
Essentially,
very
at the end
cool,
of the day, it's kind of like the GTC for Lusso or FF
right?
on like a little bit higher off the ground, but
Stilts.
but it's just incredible what they did. I think on that packaging, it's a unique architecture, unlike the Urus or the Cayenne or the Bentayga. Um, that has a V12, and that engine is mounted so far back that you can only see, I think, like 6 cylinders or like the
Mm,
front half of the engine bank at least.
right.
It's like half of it's like in the cabin, so it's like the front mid-engined platform. It's really cool, and I don't know. Ferrari did a lot of cool stuff with it. I think people are really. I mean, obviously they're appreciating it because it's already sold out for like 2 years, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
I actually am really excited for that thing. No matter, and
It,
Ferrari is not, for the record, they're not calling it an SUV. They're calling it a four-door sports car, so we don't get in trouble with anyone.
oh
But
my God.
though that is their official language there for that. But
Oh, how could I forget? The Celestic.
yes, that is going to be.
That's
I always forget
crazy.
about that actually. That thing's going to be nuts. I'm really excited for that as well.
$300,000 Cadillac, like bonkers.
They're coming back to the days of battling
I
Rolls
used to
Royce.
drive a CTS.
You could say you're
Like,
part of that brand.
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, cool. I mean, those are some great selections. I am definitely looking forward to the first Segway. But now that you reminded me of the Celeste, I may have said that actually because that thing is pretty cool. And not many people know about the online configurator character Cadillac has out for them right now, which is insane. Might need to do a video about this actually. But it's like a whole hidden web page they have showing you like how they're making it and the details and the kind of the crafting going behind it. So it's pretty cool.
I mean, a
So yeah,
handmade $300,000 Cadillac. Like,
electric.
and what was it? They're only making like one, yeah, fully electric. What are they making? Like one a day or something?
Yeah, they're gonna try to make like just
Or
a
one
few a
a
day.
week or something?
Yeah, I think they might
That's
only make like 500 or 400 the first round of production too. So
Could you
they're
imagine if
doing it
I
right.
said that I was sorry? Could you imagine if I said VinFast for the car that I was looking forward to?
I don't think anyone. I'm not sure if anyone would be saying that. And unfortunately, I pulled this out on the last episode for fun, but I had received this from BenFast, which is a wonderful
Big
BenFast
gift.
tea infuser bottle, which is really nice. Actually, it's made out
Did
of wood.
you read that article that Tedward put out?
Oh
Or
yeah,
that did you
yeah.
read that? That article is so ridiculous.
So one of the guests actually on our last podcast, he was in Vietnam with
He
VinFast.
was
They
one of the
invited him out.
influencers
He
that
was
got
one of the
invited.
influencers that were invited out. And the experience that I have heard from this is outrageous. It is truly and utterly
Yeah.
outrageous. But yeah, we're gonna see what happens with them as a company because they're trying. I know they're trying, but some of their stuff is just controversial on another level. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like, of course, like, Vietnam being a developing country, I mean, like I want them to be
Yeah.
on the main stage, just like Korea. Like
Yeah.
Korea, and I'm literally echoing that article, but it's like when Hyundai first started, they were really unreliable, they're cheap, bad cars,
Yep.
and now they're top contenders. Like it's
Exactly.
crazy, and they're
Yeah.
incredible. I mean, to the point that I bought one, but that was only because like it was so cheap, and like I had just
Yeah.
moved out because I had a Mercedes ML 350 because my mom bought her GLE and
Okay.
sold me her ML. And then when I moved back out of the house, because of COVID, it was too expensive to maintain. And so I sold it and got the Hyundai for like $200 because I know they're going to be, because I've had a lot of people recently question my authority as like a car enthusiast because I have a Chevy Colorado and an automatic i4 Z3. It's like, babe, you don't know my life. Like you don't know what I'm doing. Like you don't know who I
Yeah.
am. Like I
Yeah.
just it's
It's I
and
think
I
the TikTok comments can get to your head sometimes too with those people in there.
they get me so
Crazy.
good, gal. I don't.
They're crazy. But yeah, so there's a lot of crazy stuff happening right now, and looking towards the future as well. Some of these nice cars, but so like, where are you at now? Like, what do you want to like see yourself kind of going with this page you have? Like, do you have any like main goals you're trying to accomplish like in the next year, or any like kind of like points you want to meet?
Yeah, so I am a big believer in like writing down goals, writing them
Yeah,
out, and kind of like a vision board kind
yeah.
of thing, and like manifesting. And I being silly, but really I have a couple goals to become monetized on TikTok and YouTube.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I'm already kicking butt on my TikTok. I got 1,400 followers in the past 24 hours, like because of
Oh
one
wow,
video.
that's crazy.
Yeah, because of one video,
One
and it didn't
video.
even. I didn't even get that many from the 500,000. Like I barely got like a fraction of what I got from the 64,000 views on that one.
That's yeah, that's
So
nuts.
monetized on YouTube and TikTok. Um, get more or start to get press cars.
Hmm.
Um, and then do more collaborations like this.
Yeah,
And
it's
on and go ahead.
yeah. I was saying it's a fantastic way to put yourself out there.
But yeah, I would want to collaborate more with LGBT creators too, because I think that, again, like we, are a small group. I don't think we're that small, but I think that the voices that are amplified in this space are small. And so I
Yeah.
think that coming together in this space in an like a YouTube podcast, whatever kind of space is really key.
Mhm.
And yeah, and so I want to do more like that. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I want to do more like I want to do a track video. I almost went to VIR.
Don't we all?
Um, my dad goes to VIR a lot because he's
Okay.
part of a Porsche club.
Oh, awesome.
Um, and so he goes to VIR not a lot, but I mean, he goes maybe like every other quarter.
Hmm.
Um, and we were gonna go last week, but it was raining and it was like 40 degrees. So,
Oh, oh, not good track conditions.
bad tires and bad weather. So,
Yeah.
um, so I want to do like a track video. And then yeah, that's about, I mean, monetize more collabs and a track video.
Awesome.
Oh, and press cars.
Press
Yeah.
cars. That's an essential one. Well, unfortunately, I have heard from our little press organization that I am part of is getting increasingly more difficult to get press cars, even for these groups. Actually, I don't know what's happening. It's manufacturers and they're spending money is going to like probably the EV revolution and spending all their money on that, but I've heard it's getting more and more selective, which is really unfortunate for a lot of these creators, smaller outlets. But I think finding the brands that are still doing that, I think they're still seeing very great success with it, and I don't think they should stop. If anything, they should be continuing to do it. But unfortunately, and I don't want to call people out, but they probably won't see this anyway. There's these people that are part of these groups, and they get these cars, and they don't do anything with them. They don't, maybe they'll write like a little article, no pictures, or throw in one picture in, and then these manufacturers see that, and they're like, why do we keep giving these people cars? What are they doing with it? So they like to see results of, that's what's driving them to kind of allocate these cars to different select people. But I think like even like channels like you, they see that and they're like, hey, whoa, this is something they want to like maybe sponsor or give you a car or something. So hopefully that is a goal you'll be able to achieve next year. But I think that would be great.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the reason why I'm a part of the Washington Automotive Press
Yeah,
Association now, because the VP that I'm in contact with, like he flat out said to me that like he wants more LGBT people that are younger, excuse me, in this space, because so many of them, and two, like I plan on doing with these cars like what they were designed to do. Like, if
exactly.
it's like if it's a pickup truck, I'm gonna put a trailer behind it.
Yeah,
If it's an off-road special edition, I'm gonna take it off-road. I live in
yeah,
backwoods North Carolina. Like, there's tons of off-roading here.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
if it's like a family SUV, I'm gonna get like 10 kids and put it in the car. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know 10 kids, but but um yeah, so it's just so stuff like that. I mean, like, to your point about these, I've never heard of that, but personally,
This is a new
so
development to me too. So I was like, oh no, that's not good. And it's great to have goals, yeah, like you were saying too. It's like kind of like aim somewhere in the future because I feel like some people just do this blindly. And I've seen it's really unfortunate. I've had people on the podcast actually in the past that just like build up this crazy following and then just disappear. It's like I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do it
Mhm.
anymore. And they just have the pages like dormant, sitting dormant, and it's sad. It's like you can take this to so many places, but I guess they just become occupied with other things. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have jobs still. I think people have jobs. Are you doing this full time? You're
I
doing
do
this
this
full
full
time.
time.
I honestly do wish I could
Yeah,
do this full time, but yeah.
I worked at I mean, we should have talked this whole time about Carvana, because I worked at Carvana for 2 years.
Oh, well, okay. This is gonna be. You have to come back for another episode about this one because that
I
could
have
be
a lot
unpacked
to I have a
for a long
lot to talk
hour.
about. We could spend an entire hour talking about
Yeah,
what
yeah.
but I
That's
worked there for
interesting.
2 years, and I thought that, I can't believe I didn't lead with this. I should have led with that. Um I worked there for 2 years because I thought that I was going to be able to get like inventory from them.
Hmm.
But that was not the case. I did get a lot of TikTok inventory, but I couldn't do like longer
Yeah.
YouTube
Hmm.
videos. So
Awesome. Well, that is definitely gonna have to be unpacked another time because I think Carvana is one of those like hot brands that everyone's talking about right now. Not maybe not for necessarily good reasons, but um, yeah, they're definitely
no, definitely
making the
not for good
news.
reasons.
They're definitely making the headlines right now. But yeah, that's definitely interesting. Awesome. Thank you for coming on. Sorry to cut you off so short, but I think Zoom unfortunately ends up kicking me off these recordings sometimes at some point. So I don't want it to just get randomly cut off. But thank you for sharing about your passion for cars, your page, your experiences, and I guess where you're going to be heading towards the future. And I'd hope to have you on for another episode next season.
Yes, Justin, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it means the world. Especially like, I don't know if you know this or not, but I mean, you're helping amplify like an LGBT voice in this space, and I mean
Yeah.
that's you're an ally. You're
Thank
I'm
you.
joke. All jokes aside, I mean, you really are for doing this. And yeah, this means a lot. So thank you for having me,
Of
for
course.
real.
Thanks again. And thanks everyone for watching the Allcarnews Podcast. And make sure to go over to Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube and follow SparkPlugTV as well.